I am 80 years old now. That sentence doesn't sound dramatic when you hear it, but when you live it, it feels heavy. Because 80 years is not just time, it's memories, it's people, it's moments that never come back. I used to think old age would feel like an achievement, like reaching the end of a long road and finally being able to rest. But what no one tells you is this: old age feels more like arriving late. Late to conversations you should have had, late to moments you rushed through, late to people you assumed would always be there. When you're young, life feels loud. There's always something happening, always something demanding your attention.
Work, plans, responsibilities, deadlines.
You tell yourself you'll slow down later. You tell yourself this pace is temporary. I told myself that for decades. I believed I was being responsible. I believed I was doing the right thing. I thought being busy meant being useful. I thought being tired meant being important. But now, at 80, I understand something I wish someone had told me earlier. Life doesn't reward speed. I spent most of my life moving fast. Fast meals, fast conversations, fast goodbyes. I answered questions while thinking about the next task. I nodded while my mind was already somewhere else. I didn't notice how often people were asking for me, not my help, but my attention.
I am 82 years old. That sentence still feels strange to say out loud. Not because of the number, but because I don't remember becoming it. People think age arrives slowly, that you feel every year as it passes. You don single quotes T.age sneaks up on you while you're busy doing things you think matter. If you asked me when life started moving fast, I wouldn't say when I turned old. I would say when I stopped paying attention. No one ever told me this about time. When I was young, time felt patient. It waited for me. It forgave me. I believed tomorrow was guaranteed. I believed mistakes could always be fixed later. I believed there would be another chance. Later became the word I trusted most. I said it without thinking. I'll do it later. I'll call later. I'll say what I feel later. Later sounded safe. What no one tells you is that time doesn't disappear loudly. It fades quietly. It fades while you're working, while you're tired, while you're distracted, while you're telling yourself you're doing your best. I remember being young and feeling rushed, always in a hurry, but never sure where I was going. I was busy. Busy felt important. Busy felt responsible. Busy was my excuse for everything I avoided. I missed small moments because I was waiting for big ones. I skipped ordinary days because I thought something better was coming. Those ordinary days were my life. Time doesn't take things from you all at once. It takes them gently. A conversation here, a visit there, a moment you didn't think mattered. I thought memories would stay clear forever. They don't. They blur at the edges first. Faces fade. Voices soften. What stays sharp is regret. I don't regret the big things people warn you about. I don't regret failing. I don't regret trying and falling short. I regret what I delayed, the times I chose comfort over honesty, silence over courage, work over presence. I believed I was building a future. I didn't realize I was trading my present. There was a time when people waited for me. They waited patiently. They waited with understanding. I assumed they always would. Time teaches you this lesson late. People stop waiting before you notice. They don't announce it. They don't warn you. They simply move on. I remember a moment that seemed unimportant back then. Someone wanted to talk. Not about anything urgent. Just to talk. I said I was tired. I said another time. That time never came. At 82, silence feels different. It isn't peaceful. It's heavy. Silence gives you room to think. Too much room. Your mind starts revisiting moments you ignored. Not to relive them, but to understand them. I didn't know I was living memories while they were happening. I thought memories were something you created intentionally. You don't create them. You stumble into them, and you miss them by not being there. No one tells you that the days you rush through are the days you'll wish you could return to. You remember how the light looked, how someone smiled, how normal everything felt. Normal was a gift. I used to believe time would slow down when it mattered, that life would give me a clear signal. It never did. Time doesn't knock. It doesn't announce itself. It just keeps moving. I thought being busy meant being useful. I thought being tired meant being important. Now I understand something I learned too late. Being busy is not the same as being alive. I filled my days, but I emptied my moments. I waited for the right mood, the right version of myself, the right time. That version never arrived. At this age, you realize something painful. Life doesn't wait for readiness. It moves forward whether you're ready or not. I don't blame my younger self. He didn't know, but I wish someone had told him this. Time is not something you save. It's something you spend. Every delay costs something. Even if you don't feel it right away, the cost comes later. It comes in the form of empty chairs, unanswered messages, people you can't call anymore. I don't fear the end as much as I fear unfinished moments. Words I didn't say. Feelings I hid. Moments I rushed past. Time didn't betray me. I misunderstood it. I treated it like it belonged to me. It never did. If you're listening to this and you feel young, I won't tell you to panic. I'll tell you something. Quieter. Pay attention. Pay attention to the moments that feel small. They are in single quotes. Pay attention to people who ask for your time. They won't ask forever. Time doesn't take life from you. It lets you give it away. Slowly. Silently. Until one day, you look back like I do, and realize how much you spent without noticing. Asterisk. I don't tell this story to sound wise. Wisdom usually comes when it's no longer useful. It comes when advice is easy, because the choices are already gone. At this age, life feels like a long hallway. You can see the doors you passed, but you can't open them again. You remember standing in front of them, telling yourself you'd come back later. Later was a lie. I told myself kindly. People think regret screams. It doesn't. It sits quietly with you in the evening, when the noise fades, when there's nothing left to distract you. Regret sounds like remembering. A laugh and realizing. You don't remember the last time you heard it. I used to believe love was something you proved through sacrifice, through working harder, through providing more. I was wrong. Love needed presence, not effort. It needed time, not promises. I confused responsibility with distance. There were moments when I could have stayed longer. Moments when leaving early felt harmless. I didn't know those moments were asking something from me. Life rarely asks loudly. It asks softly, once. And if you don't answer, it doesn't repeat the question. I thought relationships were strong enough to survive neglect. Some are, most aren't. They weaken quietly, the same way time disappears. No dramatic endings. No clear breaking point. Just distance. I remember waking up one morning and realizing I didn't know what was happening in the lives of people I loved. Not because they hid it from me, because I stopped asking. I told myself they were busy. I told myself I'd check in soon. soon became never. When you're young, you think loss only comes through death. It doesn't. You lose people while they're still alive. You lose closeness. You lose familiarity. You lose the version of them that only existed with you. At 82, you stop counting years forward and start counting them backward. You remember when you were certain there was time. Enough time to fix things. Enough time to change. That certainty disappears. I used to think aging was about the body slowing down. It isn't. It's about realizing how fast everything else moved. The world didn't rush. I did. I rushed through conversations, through meals, through days that were trying to stay with me. I believed life was something waiting ahead. I didn't realize it was happening quietly beside me. There's a strange clarity that comes late in life. Not clarity about what to do, but clarity about what mattered. Unfortunately, clarity doesn't rewind time. It just makes the silence louder. I don't sit here wishing I was younger. I sit here wishing I was more present. More willing to pause. More willing to listen. More willing to stay. Time never asked me to hurry. I chose to. I filled my life with urgency for things that didn't follow me into old age. Things that mattered most were always SIMPLEPOPLE moments. Attention. I complicated them. I believed I would feel different when it was time to slow down. I thought I'd sense a natural ending to rushing. There was no ending. Just exhaustion. At some point, the body forces you to stop before the mind is ready. And that's when reflection begins. Reflection is honest, but it's not gentle. It shows you the moments you dismissed, the chances you misunderstood, the love you assumed would wait. I don't want you to hear this as a warning. Warnings feel distant. I want you to hear it as a reminder. The life you're living right now will one day feel far away. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was ordinary. And ordinary moments don't feel important until they're gone. Time doesn't value plans. It values presence. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to live faster or slower. You just need to notice more. Notice when someone wants your attention. Notice when a moment asks you to stay. Notice when you're rushing without reason. I wish I had understood that life isn't something you conquer. It's something you participate in. You don't win time. You experience it. I used to think the future was where meaning lived. Now I know meaning was always in the present, waiting for me to arrive. I arrive late. That's the quiet truth of aging. Not that you lose your strength, but that you finally see what deserved it. If I could leave you with one honest thought, it would be this. Don't wait for the right time to be human. Be human now. Be distracted less. Be present more. Because one day, time will feel very expensive, and you'll understand something I understand now. Time never rushed you. You rushed past it.